Hey everybody, Reed here, conductor at Orchestra Farms, coming to you again. I got a new little stand to hold this camera while I'm walking around, thinking that I can give you some better sound quality, and in the background it sounds like people are cutting concrete over there. Sorry about all that. Wow, thistles bring up a lot of different things for people. Look at those beautiful flowers though, turning into fantastical seeds. Oh, and a little bee. Oh. We generally like bees except for when they sting us. And the notion of emotions is what I want to chat with you today. Emotions are such wonderful things, don't you think? Well, some people like certain emotions and other ones they hate them. Like anger. Most people aren't big fans of anger. Well, they might not be big fans of sadness either, and grief is certainly an underappreciated emotion in the general public, it would likely seem. Whereas happiness and joy and elation and all of those feelings on that side of the spectrum are considered good emotions. But I would vote to say that you can actually be out of balance with any of them, and that to neglect any of them is to live an unhealthy life. To me, when I look at emotions, I see that the center point is calmness. Just being calm. Not being overly happy or sad or anxious, nervous, and the notion that you can actually have multiple emotions all happening at the same time. Oh, my pawpaw tree's covered up. You gotta take care of that. And when we're living in life, you actually have the ability to practice any of the emotions. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean you can take a moment, you could just be by yourself, that way no one else gets upset or hurt by the experience. And you could decide to feel angry for a minute, 60 whole seconds. You can see how angry you can get. Can you build your anger to the point of rage? There are places for each of these emotions to play out. And then you can pause, you can take a few breaths, because it is through the breath that we return our body to a state of calm. You could then bring forward a state of happiness in yourself. How much happiness could you possibly experience just calling it into your being? Can you experience an elation that is so euphoric that it feels like you're on cloud 9? It's possible. I invite you to experiment and play with this, and to give all the emotions each their own space. To develop a practice so that when any of them arise naturally in your life and have their moment with you, that even if you're overtaken by them for a moment, it's the kind of thing where you can remind yourself that you can actually breathe through the experience and breathe yourself down. Come back down into a space where you're calm again, even if you haven't settled the experience that's taken place to bring that emotion forward. To me, if you're doing this, then you eventually develop emotional maturity, and with that, emotional agility. If you're new to those concepts, I invite you to look them up. There's people who've written great books on the subject. They have all kinds of different dialogues around it, and it will increase your ability to enjoy life, which is really what I'm here to talk to you about in the general, because if you're going to have too much fun, which I tell you basically all the time to do, have too much fun, it's easier if you have emotional adaptability, where when you're having fun, you can really get to those moments of pure euphoric elation. And again, that can happen just from witnessing a sunrise or sunset. If you live by the coast, watching waves roll in, or if you live in a prairie land, watching the grain crops swaying in the breeze. I mean, that is freaking beautiful, kind of beyond compare. And there's any number of little micro moments, like watching insects on plants, as we did a moment ago, that we can jump into being present with the life that's around us, and either in the grief or the praise that can be had in any of those moments. I invite us all to experiment with that, to endepthen our sensibilities of what is possible for us to feel more, to allow yourself to feel the breadth and width of life that's all around us. It is truly amazing. I could go on and on. You know, if you've had any conversation with me, you know I never stop talking unless you ask me to, in which case I'm happy to shut up or reframe the conversation to ask you about your life. What emotions are you struggling with? What emotions are you super stoked to have more of? What emotions do you find it, difficult to come down from? How is your breathing with your emotions? Are you able to find your breath in any emotional sequence in space? Or do they all just keep catching you off guard and you have a hard time? I'm curious to hear. Write in the comments section below. Tell me what's up with you. Would supremely appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel to share this content out there. It might be a bit too psychedelic for you, in which case let me know. I haven't had any haters on the channel yet. That's how you know you're making it in the world. So get some haters out there. So bring the hate and bring the love if that's what you got. These again are more emotions. Let's see some emotional content. Maybe you share that via some emojis or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I don't exactly know how all the emojis work, but I'll facepalm myself for that and continue to grow as a person. With that, Reed Richard here, conductor at Orchestra Farm. Wishing you all have too much fun. Aloha.